Well, it's Friday and as you can see, overcast weather again, bit of drizzle, and I'm just heading off to Smithfield for a change. Don't have to go all the way to Cairns this week, so I'm just going to do some grocery shopping there. Might get a haircut if I feel brave. It is driving me nuts. My desktop computer died on me this morning. I've tried rebooting it probably couple of dozen times, I would say. That's no exaggeration. Normally I'd have to reboot it once to get it up and running, but it stubbornly will not boot up for me, so that's not a good sign. But ever since I got an upgrade to it with a solid hard drive shoved into the box, sped up the booting up, but there was problems with getting a clean boot up each time. So it's not a new thing, and that was a couple of years ago I had that happening, maybe 18 months to 2 years. So probably longer, yeah, be over 2 years. And so just a bit of a pain because I've got a lot of stuff on there. It's a very big hard drive, 2 terabyte hard drive. I was only meant to get a 1 terabyte with the specs, but they actually ended up putting in 2. So I don't know why that happened, but I wasn't complaining. But yeah, there's a lot of material there that I wouldn't want to lose. Most of it's backed up, but yeah, still, it's a pain. But you know, computers don't last forever. Simple as that. There is a repair guy here, a mobile repair guy. At least I hope he's still around. And I've used him before, and so he's reliable, and get a little discount by not paying for my card, so that helps. So I might have to contact him, but I've also got a couple of dead external hard drives, and that's another annoyance because one of them is the biggest one I've got, a big Seagate. I think it's a 2 terabyte. And it was on the way out when I got it back from Melbourne, and it's just died on me, and there's quite a bit of material on that I wanted as well. So, but there's 2 of those, so I've got that. He might be able to fix that too, I don't know. I've been putting it all off because I know it's not going to be cheap. You ever get a computer guy along, the advantage of him is he's mobile, so he can turn up to my address, so that is an advantage. So I don't know. He works pretty hard, I know that, because he gave me a lift to the local shops after doing a last repair, and he was just constantly on the phone to other clients. So yeah, he works very hard, so definitely earns his money, but I'd say he does very well too. So, but yeah, they're so essential now. You know, we're so tied to technology that if you have some problems with a computer, it can really stuff you about. Anyway, other thing I'm dependent on is coffee. I'm running out, so I'm going to have to get myself some from Coles in Smithfield. I didn't put it in the order this week because I'm not going to do a Coles order next week because I just don't. There's not many enticing specials, and I've got a crap load of food in the fridge, so it's just not an issue. I don't always have orders every week anyway. So I'll have to buy some coffee. I've probably got enough to stumble by to the following week, but yeah, I don't want to take the chance. So yeah, computers and coffee, my addictions. A bit clearer over this side with the weather, but it is a constant drizzle. So, but I really need to get some shopping done. I'm running out of my greens. They're holding up really well. The new fridge is much more efficient than the old one. It was a good move to buy it. So I'm happy with that. Forgot to mention, yeah, I didn't give you the results of my road testing the Triple G gin, which is the new Australian gin. I think it's about $52 for a 700ml bottle. But it's 40% alcohol by volume, so it's got a bit of a kick. So it's really not too bad a price. It's not as cheap as the clean skin, but just wanted something different. And I've got to say, I think it's probably one of the better ones. I think it's better than the Archie, which is another an Australian gin. I would say Triple G is definitely worth getting again, depending on what price I get for it. But I got $15 off that. I had $100 spend because I've got some rum as well, and so I got a 15% discount. So I brought it down a bit. So it's probably mid-40s I paid, which isn't too bad if you consider it's such a full strength gin. And like I said, I'm happy with the flavour. The clean skin one's okay, but it's got a little bit of an aftertaste, and it's just nice to have a change. Anyway, why did that happen? I didn't do anything. I touched the edge of the screen. Isn't that weird? It's got a mind of its own, this camera. Just soaking up the atmosphere in beautiful downtown Smithfield. I think I just missed my bus. It's the 8:41 and I was walking up there about 8:46, so it probably turned up on time. The one that left from home, of course, was about a quarter of an hour late. So that's typical. The one that you need to be late is on time, and the one that you would like to be on time is late. That's the way public transport goes. But I got my shopping done, just got to wait for the 111 and hopefully it'll turn up sometime this century. And I can get back home. I'm having a lot of trouble getting coffee though. I think there's a major coffee shortage happening. I went to Coles and they didn't even have the full strength urban culture coffee that they normally have. They had a different variety, and Woolworths also didn't have the coffee I was looking for. Just had their own brand in an espresso brand in a beans, which was $18. So I might have to see if I can get Sid to go up to the local Coles and see if he can get me one, because I'm getting very close to running out of coffee, and that's a bit of a worry. Hard to handle life without my coffee, especially with my main computer on the fritz today. Oh boy, I'm getting sick of the buses, I got to tell you. When I was going up there, this kid got on board, and I reckon he is the most obese person I think I've seen up here. He actually took 2 seats and sat sideways. He had a school backpack on, and then he got off at the uni stop. But I got a couple of things done I need to get done, but I was going to get a haircut, but it was a bit busy. And when I went to actually to the checkout at Woolworths, of course, there weren't enough people on the man checkout, so I had to use the auto one. And of course, I put all my groceries on the wrong side because I thought I'd worked out which way that goes. There's no signage to tell you where to put your actual groceries before you've actually scanned them. It's ridiculous. I mean, terrible design. But the guy was really helpful that was assisting there. He clued me up. So that was good. But I had to wait another half hour. Just missed the bus. And the one that followed on, of course, was late. And if that bus had been running the same schedule as the one I'd missed, I would have caught it, because it was over 8 minutes late. So some days you just can't take a trick. So I was waiting over half an hour for the bus. It's a real drag. And then at the stop just near the uni, like a hen's night got on board. There must have been about almost a dozen women, and it sounded like a hen's night. They were pretty raucous. They weren't aggro or anything. They were quite happy, but like they'd been to the pub actually. But it was a bit strange at about 10 o'clock in the morning. But they still had at the stop. They went all the way to Kawara and got off, I don't know where, somewhere between here and the terminus stop in Kawara. That surprised me. I thought they'd get off at the beach or Trinity Beach. So sometimes can't pick it. I can usually pick where passengers are going to go. You sort of get an intuition, but that threw me today. Anyway, at least the weather's good, and maybe my desktop computer will actually boot up when I have another go at it. Another couple of dozen attempts. After that, I'll have to call for help. So that's going to cost me money. Oh well. Well, I'm just experiencing my second power blackout in Kawara Beach since I've been here for about 4 years now. Apparently a power pole got hit. I checked it up online. I first checked my fuse box and that all looked okay, because that has happened to me before where it got flipped, and there was no problem with the power to the suburb. It was just my place. But this time it definitely is an ergon outage. So interesting to be at home without the abilities to tap into mod cons that use electricity. Apparently there's a scheme out, a government scheme, where there's very cheap batteries on offer. I presume you'd have to have solar panels before you're able to take advantage of that particular deal. But in situations like this, it'd be nice to have your own power supply. But hopefully it won't be much longer. It went out about an hour or so ago, and hopefully we'll get power back on before the sun sets. That would be good. At least it's happened during the day. I suppose that's something. I was downloading something, and I think I might have just missed out on finishing the download when the power went, which is a bit of a pain. But so be it. Slight inconveniences. It's a bit more pleasant outside than inside. It's always a little cooler. And seeing I don't have electricity, I don't have a fan going. So it's better. I'm better off actually down the back of the house right now than being indoors. So see how long it all lasts for. My football team, Richmond's playing the top team, Collingwood, today, so I wasn't exactly optimistic. And I was listening to the broadcast because it was I was listening to it online. Of course, I can't do that because my modem is not on now. So although I am able to access the scores via my mobile, and they're only a couple of goals down, so I suppose that if they could retain that sort of loss, that'd be quite good for them. I mean, a close loss would be better than it being thrashed, that's for sure. So I doubt whether they'll win, but that would be a miracle if that was the case. I mean, we have 3 wins on the trot. I can't see that happening, but it's a funny old game. And it's getting a little warmer the last week or two. It's getting up to about 29 degrees in Cairns, so about 28 here. It definitely feels warmer, and this is, it's 3:30 in the afternoon, and it doesn't really feel cool. It feels cooler than summer, obviously, but we only really had the cold weather for about a month or so, and now it's definitely back more to normal. And it looks as though I'll have to do the mow on the backyard, which is a pain, but can't do much about that. I may actually be able to harvest some passion fruit soon. There are definite flowers on the vines. I'll just switch across to that so you can get a look at the vine in front of me. So there you go. Yes, the flowers are looking good, and next to them is the passion fruit vine. So I've got several of those, and just hoping that I actually am able to harvest some fruit this year. I quite like passion fruit. For some unknown reason, I really have no idea why I cannot grow capsicum this year. Every other year's been fine, but I'm having problems this year. Not sure what the issue is there. I've got some tomatoes that have germinated and they're growing, but I don't think I'll ever get fruit off them. You have to specifically have a tropical variety. And I cooked up some pumpkin yesterday as part of my salad, and I've retained the seeds from that. And so I'll plant them and see how we go. But that garden bed down next to the shed there, which is on the left in the screen, is I did had some earth brought in for it, but things aren't growing that well. I've got the only plants that I planted that are in there and doing okay, and well, not really even okay. They're sort of recovering. They got knocked about a bit. And they're that's the spices, the chili plants. They've got new leaves, so I think they'll be all right. But you have to really water them a lot, and the soil there just dries out really quickly. So it probably needs a bit more organic material, I'd imagine. to make it better. And again, for all the problems we have here, like power outages, at least we don't have war. I mean, who would have thought there could possibly be a war between Thailand and Cambodia, of all places? I mean, it's bad enough with Ukraine and Russia, but oh boy. And people still say that that China's got its eyes on Taiwan, but I don't think Xi will last that long. I think he's pretty well out. So we'll see what the new leadership says. I don't think it'll ever happen, to be quite frank. And if they do try it, I think they'll fail miserably, because a seaborne invasion is a very difficult thing to pull off, especially when you've got a tofu navy like China has. There's quite a few doubts about the quality of their ships. And you look at the Russian ship, they had their aircraft carrier, which has never been out of port, apparently. Oh, and another great socialist country nuclear submarine, their first nuclear submarine, that's North Korea. That's in the same boat, pardon the pun. But their nuclear sub, the only one that's able to launch intercontinental ballistic missiles, has never left harbour. So it's a bit of a dud. And then that seems to be similar situation in China and Russia, especially Russia, where corruption's basically destroyed the credibility of their military. So not a bad thing really, but just shows you that you do need a system where there is some scrutiny of the opposition, and hopefully Ukraine will sort out its issues with their anti-corruption, because Zelensky and the parliament voting to basically take the autonomy away from that body, the one looking at anti-corruption, did not go down well with the electorate, and they were protesting in the streets. But at least they could protest in the streets. You try doing that in Russia, and chances are you'll be locked away or just knocked off or thrown out of a window or whatever. So at least they have that option. So I suppose that it reinforces the fact that Ukraine is not Russia. So that's a good thing. And I do think that long term that Ukraine will prevail, maybe not that long a term either. I don't think Russia could last more than this year with their economy going down the skids. So we'll see. Still no sign of power, so it's a bit annoying. It might have also gone out when I was overseas, but most of the majority of my time has been in Cairns, and since I've been at Kawara, it's been in Kawara as well. So we'll see. I'll do some more house hunting next week, and hopefully I'll find another dream home, but I doubt it. But you've got to be in it to win it, don't you? At least I'm looking now, so that's the good thing. Yes, and please consider supporting my channel by subscribing, giving me a thumbs up, making a comment. Anything like that would help a lot. Really would appreciate that support. As I say, I've just been stuck on the high 900s for some time now, and I just don't seem to be able to move forward. Not that it matters that much getting to the 1,000. Even if I was monetarised, I don't think I'd be making much. So it's just a personal goal more than anything else. But would appreciate the support if you could do that for me. Well, we'll see how we go. Well, this is quite a stressful Monday afternoon. It shouldn't be, but it is, because I put an order in online to Liquorland for a delivery, and after I'd put the payment through, I just realised that the address was wrong, and so consequently I didn't get the right address. And I've been ringing around all the Liquorlands trying to find out who's got the order, but no one seems to have the order yet. And so I just want to give them the correct address, but it's so damn frustrating when you've got a system like this that just doesn't allow you to communicate. And when they sent an email, they didn't tell me which Liquorland they were going to pick up the Uber was going to pick up the grog from. So I just can't trace it. So it's a real pain. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll probably end up returning it to the Liquorland. I think that's probably what's going to end up happening, which is a pain, because then I'll have to pick it up, which is not what I'll want to do. But See how we go. Just got to be very careful when you're putting in online information, obviously. The address is vital, that's correct. It's never happened to me with Coles deliveries. It's the first time this has ever happened, but it just shows you've got to be careful when putting that data in. Well, still waiting for my grog supply to be delivered. This time they've got the correct address because I used the chat box on the Liquorland site to give them the correct information. And it looks as though it was the Liquorland in Moore Street, the one I couldn't get through to on the phone. They wouldn't answer the phone. They seem to be the ones who were doing the delivery, so just my luck that they didn't answer the phone yesterday, so I could have got this sorted out then. Not that I'm in a huge rush to get this consignment, but just be nice to finalise it. But yeah, apparently it's supposed to be, I probably was on the phone about, I don't know, 9 o'clock, and in 2 hours I was supposed to get my delivery. Well, it's after that now, so I'm still waiting. So fingers crossed it resolves itself. That would be rather nice. But I am getting some rather good limes on this tree. There's a couple of low-hanging fruit, literally low-hanging fruit, that you can see there. They're very healthy looking. Need a bit more time, but they're going to be a decent sized lime. So, and my lemon tree just beyond there is looking good too. Although I don't think I'll be producing any lemons for some time, maybe next year if I'm lucky. We'll see. But anyway, fingers crossed that that this fiasco is finished. I did actually finally sign up to the Liquorland site. I think in the past I wasn't able to because they had such strict specifications on the passwords to be registered with them. But I worked it out today, so that will permanently have the correct address there, so this fiasco won't occur again. Well, it's time for celebration in my crappy unrenovated kitchen. I just got my grogs delivered. It should have been here yesterday, but because of my ineptitude, I had put the wrong number of the house in. That didn't help. So now I've got, this is the first glass I'm having from a 2 litre wine master, what's it called? Winesmith's cask with cab sav, which is very good quality, I've got to say. Very nice. Now, I had a deal on where you got 2 of these casks for $25 because they're normally 16 each, and on top of that, you lop off at least 10% on top of that because I I purchased more than $250 worth of grog. About 253 to be exact. So it's quite a discount I get on the grog. It's a little $11 something for a cask that's normally 16, so it's not bad really. So I'm quite happy with that. Just take it easy and not guzzle it too fast, because that's the problem with cask wine. You can easily abuse it because it's so easy to just quaff and quaff and quaff. So I'll try not to do that. But I think I deserve to have 1 glass as a celebration anyway. So that's a bit of a, that's a bit of relief because I was freaking out yesterday once I put the wrong number of my house in. I thought, oh God, how am I going to get out of this? And it wasn't as easy as I'd hoped. It's Wednesday and having the joy of another blood test, although they're going to be more infrequent in the future. I think once every 2 months, so that's not too bad really. So all part of my new treatment regime, which is working out well because I didn't have to go to Cairns last week. So I enjoyed, that was a nice bonus. Another beautiful day up here. Finally got all the grog stuff sorted out yesterday with Uber. They turned up at my door, and one thing was interesting is that the ID check was showing my passport. That happened really quickly. It's pretty well instantaneous. On one occasion it took the girl 10 minutes to get the ID through. That was ridiculous. But this one was pretty well instant, and he seemed like a nice guy. Might have been a student just making some extra cash. So yeah, that was good. So it wasn't such a big disaster after all. I tend to exaggerate the problems like that. When I hadn't put my correct street address in, I thought, oh God, it's going to be a disaster. But it wasn't. It wasn't a disaster. It just delayed the delivery by a day, and that didn't really matter. Not to me. I've already got plenty of grog in the house. Probably too much. I could have cancelled the order, and I was almost tempted to do that because they did give me that option. But I went ahead with it anyway because I've got that Archie rum, and I'm not... Oh, sorry, the Archie gin. And I wasn't super thrilled with it. It wasn't as good as the triple G, but it was okay. So look, I got a couple of bottles of it anyway, and I'll be able to survive that much if it is absolute crap. I mean, I had a glass of red wine too from the Winesmith's Cab Sab, the 2 litre, which I thought was excellent the first time I tried it. But then I had a glass yesterday and it just didn't taste as good. Now, it could well be my body chemistry at that time. See, there's lots of variable factors, so I wouldn't put down the wine. It's probably just a different time of day. I'll have some more at lunch today, maybe have a couple of glasses and see what I think. I'm on the lookout now for shares as well. See if I can find some decent shares that are undervalued. Although on the other hand, if a property I really like comes up, I want to have as much cash as I possibly can on hand. Yeah, the beauty of shares, of course, is you can convert them into cash straight away. But if you buy, like if I bought a parcel of shares and the thing's died on me, of course, that just makes life even harder, doesn't it? So there's always a risk. But yeah, I've sort of learnt to be very careful of technology shares because I've got that Fast Brick Robotics as a dog of an investment. I lost money on that. I lost money on Redflow. That's another one. Didn't spend much on them, thank God, especially Redflow. But I think that's actually totally tanked. So, and my local one that I supported with the who do all the tourist stuff up here in far north Queensland, Experience. They're also in New Zealand, other areas as well, but they make a lot of revenue in FNQ. That share price is terrible, so that's another dud. So I've got to be. It's easy to get duds, but again, I didn't invest a lot of money in these duds. I piled most of my money into CBA, which ended up being a smart move. But last financial year, I sold Telstra shares before they went up even further. So they're going to go above $5 away, they're looking. So that was a bad move this year. So it's really difficult to pick. I thought they'd been stable for so long. You know, I just didn't think they were going to go anywhere. But a lot of shares did jump up this year. And the Coles shares I was holding, which I didn't do anything with, they jumped quite a bit. So, yeah, there's two trains of thought with investment like that. Do you go for your high returns and risky stocks, or do you just take the steady as you go and, you know, occasionally get a boost like happened with Coles and CBA. CBA's almost 3 times the price of what I paid for them originally, and I think I bought them, I don't know, 7 years ago, something like that. So it's not a bad return. Although they're stingy on the dividends. They're not paying much in dividends, and I think that's rather poor. Hopefully they'll change their policy there and give their investors a bit more back. But I guess we're always whinging about that, aren't we, as investors? You never satisfy us. Well, like I said, day's be perfect today. It's going to be a top of 30, which is the highest temperature for a long time. Sort of, we definitely moved out of winter. Of course, it could come back to bite us, but it's fairly benign weather right now. It's a good time to be up here. And yeah, I noticed that that old Elon Musk can't keep his trap shut. He really needs probably to do that, because he came up with a ridiculous statement, in my opinion, that he's going to roll out these cyber taxis to half of America by the end of this year. That's just crazy. He's just done a piddling, very small sample with safety drivers on board in Austin, Texas. And now he thinks he'll be able to go through half of America by the end of this year. Total crap. He really has got loose lips, and I think he, you know, if you're a Tesla investor, I think you'd be very worried if you're rational about it, because what will happen with Tesla shares is that once it becomes super apparent that they're not going to beat Waymo, that they may well be 5 years behind them in development, I think Tesla would take a huge hit, and you know, I mean big, like 50%, 100%, 200%. But you have people like Kathy Woods, who's an investment. She runs an investment company and says, you know, talking about Tesla shares being worth thousands of dollars. There's a whole group of Asian people wandering down the other side of the road. I mean, incredible number. I don't know. Is it from a school, maybe? I guess it probably is. Yeah, that's a sight you don't normally see down here. Yeah, so, yeah, Kathy Wood saying something like they're going to go into the thousands, you know, $10,000 or $20,000 a share or some ridiculous figure like that. If what Elon Musk actually promised about, probably about 5 or 7 years ago with this robo-taxi thing, if it came to fruition, yes, it would be worth a lot of money. But it's becoming apparent to me that the way he just wants to do it on the cheap, just using vision, it's just not going to work. The way it's set up currently, unless he comes up with some absolutely brilliant software. I mean, I can see his rationale behind saying it's just about using imagery, because that's what humans do when they drive. So if humans can do that, why can't AI? Well, I guess because the AI is not mature enough. It's fairly early days with all that, and I think we take it for granted what we can do as humans. We do some pretty remarkable things just to get through the day, things you don't even think about, but when it comes to computing, just is a real challenge. Just what I'm doing now, walking, for instance. I think they're only finally now getting robots that can actually do that, and of course they're limited with the amount of time they can be mobile down. I think it's just a few hours on most batteries, and if the battery tech, when that gets better, they'll be more practical. But right now, you know, they have limitations. They have stilted movement. They're not there yet, mind you. I'm not writing them off, that's for sure. I think the technology is pretty amazing, because, you know, it used to be, we just had Boston Dynamics used to build a robot called Atlas, cost a fortune to build, and use hydraulics, which leaks. It's very dangerous because it's around a human and you've got a leaking, you know, you've got tubes that are leaking. You don't want to, you know, it's not practical for people. So now they've actually switched to electric actuators, which from what I can gather are basically electronic muscles, and they're a much safer and quieter and more reliable way of actually providing motion to the robots. So, you know, progress is being made, but, you know, it can take a while. God, I mean, the bloody arborists are out in force today, aren't they, with their chainsaws? Yeah, no lack of demand for that service up here. Not so much in my house now with the palms being locked. Yeah, I finally got the blood test, but boy, it wasn't as easy as I would have thought, because CML was closed today. That's never happened. I turned up there and they've got the place locked up, and they'll be opening again tomorrow. On top of that, I went to the the GPs where they do blood tests as well with Sullivan Nicolaides. And I have never seen this GP this full. And it was so full that even the lady doing the blood test had commented on it to me. She said it's incredibly full there. And it was just like human traffic coming from all directions. It's insane. So, yeah, it was quite extraordinary. You don't get used to that many people in Kawara. It's a bit of a hermit's paradise. So I'm going to leave the busy environs of Trinity Beach right now and heading back to Sleepy Hollowville. I'm quite happy about that. Oh, she's very pleasant though, this lady. I don't know where she's from, either India or Sri Lanka, I presume. But very chatty, very nice lady. And got that blood test out of the way. Now I can have my morning coffee, which is what I'm really hanging out for. Yeah, so I've got all the things done except for my listing of the e-bike. I was thinking of taking a photo of it outdoors, might look a bit better, and put it up on Facebook Marketplace. See how we go. And I'm continually looking at the real estate listings now, virtually on a daily basis. I'm looking at the share market too. Things I hadn't done for a while, and well, I've never done the real estate thing, only when I was actually looking to buy a house. But I think it's not a bad thing to do occasionally. Maybe I'm being a little overzealous because I found a place that I thought was so good. I mean, they do come up. There is another option there in Clifton Beach, and that's a definite possibility, but the kitchen would need work. They're asking more than $875, but you just never know. There might be a price reduction in the wind there. And of course, if I'm committed to getting my new kitchen, that's going to make things complicated, because I can't really put the house on the market if it's in the middle of the kitchen renovations. But you know, I can't put life on hold. I'm going to have to make some decisions. But the major decision is I'm just going to keep looking at real estate in the three suburbs here: Kawara, Trinity Beach and Clifton Beach. You just never know. I'm just kicking myself that I wasn't looking prior to that. Even if it's just every few weeks, it's better than nothing, because you might find a place that you do want to keep your eye on and you can look at it more often. But you need to know what's happening in the market. Check out this place. Look how big that is. It's we're in Kawara Street. I'm surprised that they could build that big. But 3 stories, I guess that's allowed here. Most places are up to 2, but that one is going to be a relative monster. So, beautiful part of town, this. I love it down in Kawara Street before I go up to Gannett Street towards my abode. Well, I'm in my backyard and it's a bit of an overcast day, but I've got a couple of hours to kill before I've got to go to the city. So I thought I'd just do my latest YouTube video, which has been a bit late, a couple of days late, so I'm sorry about that. Please support the channel by subscribing or giving thumbs up or commenting. I really appreciate that. Just wanted to make one note that I forgot to mention on my latest walk, and that was about Gilmour Space Technologies, based near Mackay in far north Queensland. They had their first liftoff of their rocket because they're the only Australian-based private company that's actually doing rocketry. Well, we haven't even got anything on a governmental level when I think about it when it comes to launch vehicles. So Gilmour Space Technologies is it, and their hybrid solid fuel and liquid oxidizer rocket did take off finally from their launch pad in Bowen near Mackay, far north Queensland, and it lifted. It got off the pad and lasted for about 15 seconds, so it actually hovered above the actual launch pad and then fell on its side and started to burn off. It didn't explode, but there was quite a few flames. I was watching Mr. Manley's, Scott Manley's description of it, which is quite thorough. It has 4 rockets, and one of those rockets lost ignition, so it couldn't lift off any higher, and then they lost one other one, so they're down to 50% of their rockets actually providing thrust, and consequently the rocket then started to descend at a fairly gentle pace, but did fall on the ground and fell on its side, and the flame inflamed out, but it didn't actually affect any of the launch infrastructure. That's the good news. So now it's back to the drawing boards for Gilmour Space Technologies. The leaders of that, the CEO and his brother, the CEO has actually a banking background of all things, and his brother has more of a marketing background, and they have connections with Singapore. But for some reason, they're just with space. It is really difficult to have a successful launch. It happened with SpaceX as well when they first tried to get their Falcon rockets to work. So look, they said that if they could get off the pad, that would be a success for them. They're realists in that respect, and that's what they did achieve. Now they've got to try to get the rocket to go in to orbit. It's a 3-stage rocket, but they'd probably be happy if they can just get the first stage to burn out and go to the second stage. And it's a step-by-step process, but it's expensive, and so they have funding rounds, and they need a lot of money, and they burn through millions of dollars, and so investors have to be patient with this sort of thing. So anyway, I just thought I'd give you an update of what's happening with them. They want to fulfill the small satellite market. They think there's a niche there, and if they can get this rocket to work properly, it's an unusual one. As I said, it's a hybrid between solid fuel, has a solid fuel core, but it has a an oxygen liquid as an oxidizer, and that provides them with control over the thrust. Normally with a solid fuel rocket, you just light it and that's it. You can't change anything. You can't reduce the thrust. It just burns out, and it's a fairly crude way of getting thrust, but it works very effectively and it's fairly cost effective. But this one, because it's a hybrid, they do have control over the thrust, so that's the big advantage of that system. So they're trying something new, and good luck to them. Mightn't be till next year we see another launch, but fingers crossed it goes better. So good luck, Gilmour. Good to see some Aussie tech going ahead. There's also defensive drone technology companies in Australia. So we do actually have some technology in this country, and I just think it needs more support. Rather than pouring all this money into housing, pour it into supporting businesses that have got good futures. That's what this country needs to lift up its productivity and make us wealthier in the future, I think. Anyway, have a good day, and I'll get back to you soon.